I got my hands on these late to compare them to everything else, but that doesn't mean I still can't make a video on them. Hi everybody, today I am taking a look at the Monami Plus Pen 3000. These are felt tip fine liners. They were recommended to me by several of you and I did not get my hands on them in time to do the Thunderdome with them where I compared all the colorful fine liners that I had, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to make a video like I said in the intro. So we're just going to take a look at them. They're intriguing looking. They come in this plastic case. I ordered them on Amazon and they were really inexpensive for a pack of 24, like $17.95 or something when I ordered them with Prime shipping, which was exciting. I can't find a lot of claims on them except that they're water-based. That's one of the big things I found, and that the pen color matches the barrel. I'll still check dry time and some of the other things, but there's not much in the way of, if there is, I can't find it or it's not in English. They come in this plastic situation and then you open it with latches and it's like a little book of pens, which I think is kind of cool. The pens do have color names and it's written on a sticker on the side of the pen. Let's look at the actual body of the pen. So these look more like markers than they do pens. Like they don't have the pen clip and they have like a slightly ridged tip here, like on the cap. They're round. The cap snaps on fairly satisfyingly and it feels a little loose on the end, but like you can hear that like kind of the sound you can make if you stick your finger in your belly button if you're an innie like I am. So I feel like this will stay on. They're a nice length. They're skinny. They're smooth. They feel kind of lightweight. The tip does not have the metal encasement the way that some of the other fine liners I've looked at have. This actually looks a little bit more similar to like a Pigma Micron PN. There's the Micron PN and the Monami 3000 next to each other. I don't think it's exactly the same, but they look similar. Now, when I look at Amazon, the only thing I can find about the tip size is that it is 0.3 to 0.5 millimeter, and they feel solid and comfortable when you holding it. Let's find out what it feels like when you write with it. Much like the PN, this looks like it has like a bit of flexibility to the tip. For comparison's sake, here's the Microsoft PN. The different kind of widths you can get when you're pressing down. Yeah, so that's interesting. And it bends a little bit. You can see here it's bent a little bit, but it looks like with a little bit of writing, it'll go back into place. It's got a little bit of a scratchy feel to it, which doesn't surprise me with this kind of plastic nib. Let's check dry time. Well, that smeared like the dickens. One Mississippi. Dried up faster after 1 second. Yeah, so I'd give it a couple seconds to dry, so I'm not sure how these would do with the Lefty Test. It does feel comfortable in my hand. It's a very thin pen, and there's nothing going on here besides smoothness, which is nice, and it's nice and long. So I like the feel of this. I just wonder if over time, if my heavy hand would not kind of fuck this tip up. But from this testing, it looks like you put the heavy hand down, it gets thick, but you pull up and it's back to normal. It doesn't distort it the way it does with some felt tips where the nib kind of bends over. Like I was saying, it was broke dick. Okay, let's take a minute and do the colors. I'm going to do a swatch page in my bullet journal, and then we'll look at how they bleed through and if the colors match the barrels. These colors are really pretty. There were a few things that came up as I was swatching them. First of all, I found them super comfortable to write with. For the most part, like scratchy, yes, but like even with the change in pressure, it didn't really fuck them up too bad. I tried to color in inside these squares to show the skinny and the thick kind of versions of the pen. And for the most part, writing and switching back and forth from thick and thin wasn't really a problem. The couple things I did notice, though, was that there were a few colors that I felt like were not accurate. Like, for example, this black blue in person, the pen looks more like a dark purple. Black blue color is absolutely stunning, but I feel like the color of the pen is not quite indicative of it. Same with the violet. This seems more like a true purple, and the violet has a little bit more of like a red undertone, and they don't really match. The other one that jumped out at me was red wine. This color does not look like a wine red to me. The pen actually looks more like a red wine, but the color itself is a little brighter than that. The other thing I noticed is that with some of these guys, when you tried to recap them, it felt like you were going to crush the nib, and then the cap finally would snap on, but it would feel like it was loose, so you would push harder and then it would kind of pop off. I didn't notice this with every pen, but with some of the pens when I was recapping them, I couldn't figure out whether or not I had actually capped it, or if it wasn't capped, is the pen going to dry out? Like this one here, it's like loose and it moves around, and when you press it down, it feels like you're going to squish the pen, and it doesn't feel like firm, but not all of them feel that way. Some of them cap nice and tight, and a few of them really kind of, mostly in the blues and the greens, really did not feel like they were capping securely. So I'm going to check bleed through back of my Scribbles That Matter. Ghosts a little bit, but not much. Now I'm going to check in my Erin Condren. Oh, it barely ghosts at all. So I would definitely say that these are planner-friendly pens. I like the range of the color selection. I think it's really pretty. I love the blue-black. I'm not a big fan of the paler colors, the lilac, the pale orange, the mint green, mostly because they just are so pale, they don't stand out very much to me, but I can see them being good accent colors when used with some of the more vibrant colors. In terms of vibrancy, the brighter colors are super bright and super clear and pretty. Very pretty pens, comfortable to write with and scratchy, and aside from the scratchiness, and they're inexpensive. So I would totally recommend these as a pen. If you can get these at a good price with the free shipping, I would say go for these if you like colorful fine liners. You just have to be forewarned that when you're capping them, you might, and I don't know if that means they're going to dry out or not. I'll report back because I'm going to use these, I think, quite a bit. I like them a lot, but I am curious to see whether or not this capping situation is going to dry them out. It's too early to tell. But in general, yeah, I could recommend these. So I'll link them down below if you're interested. There'll be an Amazon affiliate link. Any proceeds from affiliate links just go back into the channel so I can buy more pens so I can test them for you. Speaking of which, I am going to be doing filming another pen test video today that'll go up next week, and I'm starting on some brush pens. That doesn't mean I am going to not do the fine liners, like the black fine liners, like Microns and Tombow Mono drawing pens. That Thunderdome will be coming soon when I can get it scheduled, but I will be starting to review brush pens. So if there are any brush pens you would like me to review, please leave them down below. And if you have other kinds of pens I haven't talked about, you can leave those down below too. Just because I'm doing a bunch of brush pens doesn't mean I can't do other kinds of pens as well. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.